Okay, so actually this angle is pretty good. One thing that I realized right off the bat in recording this is that I really need to start actually doing my face in the morning if I'm going to be showing it on YouTube. So if you can't tell by my less than desirable way of talking, this is my very, very first video. So hello world. One of the reasons that I have, well, okay, let me back up. This is taking me a very, very long time to record. I've been self-conscious. I've just been paralyzed by fear because I really don't know what I'm doing and I'm having to learn all this from the ground up. So all of those excuses, just I was putting it off. And finally this week I was kind of like, you know what, you want to do this? Just go ahead and hit record, and doesn't have to be perfect. So with that in mind, let's talk about why I wanted to start a YouTube channel. So when I have had the most trouble in my life, I've really found some kind of solidarity on YouTube. So, for example, I'm a mom. I'm a single mom. I'm a working mom. I am somebody who desires to be organized and to make healthy meals at home for affordable prices. These are all things that you can easily find in videos on YouTube, right? So going back to when I've quote unquote struggled, I'm a single mom. So typically that means there was some kind of baggage going on there, right? So during that time when I was kind of transitioning into becoming what I would call true single mom, I felt very alone and isolated. I felt like I was seeking advice from people who didn't really understand the situation. And so I Googled and I found some really helpful podcasts. And then I found some moms on YouTube, which I have kind of gotten to feel like I know, which is so weird, right? But what I like about it is I'm watching their content knowing they're just a regular mom, right? Like they're just a regular lady with a camera talking about their lives, and it's helped me a lot and I enjoy it. So I started to think, what if I did that? Because I feel like I've had a lot of experiences that would actually potentially be useful to people, or at the very least, maybe some of you could relate to bits and pieces of my story and my daily life, and I don't know, maybe we can share ideas that way. So that is kind of my long drawn out intro, which I have no idea how to do an intro, guys. Like I just said, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm just starting from scratch, and I'm someone who likes to share. I like to talk about what's going on in life. I like to talk about my junk. That's just the type of person I am. So honestly, maybe this is a little bit selfish too. I'm just wanting to get it out there. And I'm sure at some point I'll get used to talking to a phone rather than an actual human being. But I know eventually there will be some people on the other side of the screen. Fingers crossed. Okay. So I kind of said why I'm interested in doing this and why it's taken me so long to do this. Now, this next part is not even it. That last bit wasn't even well kind of compiled, but this will be even less so. So everyone sort of seems to have like a direction with their channel, right? They have a focus, or they've branded themselves in a certain way, which I'm hoping to do soon. But as of right now, I'm, going to fumble around and do a little of this, do a little of that until I get get a handle on things. For example, you can notice that when I am talking, I'm often dropping my eyes or, shifting focus. And it's like, gosh, just look at the camera, Nina. But I realized the next thing that I should do is introduce myself. And actually this should be the very first bit of the video. All right. So, hi everybody. My name is Nina. And part of this channel, I'm wanting it to be a little separate from my real kind of daily identity, in the sense that, I've got a full-time job, and it's very different from this type of kind of candid, just banter. So I might say things that are really personal that I wouldn't necessarily want to be viewed by coworkers or my boss, God forbid, if he was to Google me, which I don't think he would, but so anyway, so I'm sticking with first names. My name is Nina. I have 2 kids, the most important people in my entire life. So my daughter, Ember, she is currently at this time 3.5 months. She will be 4 in June. Anyone who has toddlers / preschoolers, it just the stages. And I have 2 kids. They're both young. I obviously don't know what it's like to raise an older child. But I can imagine it's, there's the stages and whatnot there as well. But, little kids are hard. Like, I love my daughter more than anything, and yet she drives me crazy. The expression, mini me, is very true with that one. She has her mom's personality and sass and, why, trying to figure out why and be persuasive and argue and all of the traits that maybe are not so desirable, that I have, at least for other people to experience. My daughter has them, so I get to experience those. It's like looking in the mirror, which, whole soapbox. I probably plan on talking about parenting a lot. That's one of the things that I love about having kids. So one of my huge goals in life is just become the best version of myself that I can be. My mom used to always tell me that growing up, be the best version of yourself. And of course that didn't really mean anything to me when I was younger. Just kind of pushed over that. But now at the stage where I am in my life and being a mom to 2 young kids, I just realized the most important thing I can do, the best thing I can do for my kids, is to be the best Nina I can be, because I want to set a good example for them. So, where was I going? I was talking on a huge tangent there. Okay. Oh yes, I was introducing my kids and I ended up talking about being a mirror. Anyway, okay, so that is my daughter. Her name is Ember. That is Ember. And this will go into why I have named and branded myself the way that I have on YouTube. My son's name is Blaze. So, who got it? Who got it? Who got the fire connection? Anyone? Ember and Blaze. Very rarely does anybody pick up on that. But anyway, they were named as a theme. And my kids are definitely fires. Ember is not just an ember. She's, she erupts too. So, anyway, so, little fires mama right there, because I have 2 little fires. So Blaze will be 2 in May, And I am definitely one of those moms that I just like to say he will be 2 in May. And I cannot wait until he is 2 because I don't like doing the months thing. Like, anytime that anyone has asked me my son's age from when he was born, I've basically blacked out which month of his life that we're in. Okay. Like, he turns 2 in May. We're here in January, and I'm just still calling him 18 months. Like, basically, he was 6 months, he was 9 months, he was a year, he was 18 months, and now he's going to be 2. And so, I think that's second child syndrome, poor guy. But anyway, so Blaze, oh my gosh. Ember never really had a terrible 2. She had a terrible 3, and it was terrible, let me tell you, for all the reasons I stated just prior. Blaze, my little man whom I love so much, is certainly a Blaze, becoming 2 years old. Lots of crying. There's just always crying. But let me go back and just say again, my kids are my entire world. I do everything for those 2 little humans. My life is dedicated to them, and I wouldn't have it on any other way, but they drive me nuts. And a lot of times I have to just, well, I was going to say I want to hide from them, but the sad fact is I actually do a lot of times. So, okay, more on the intro side. So I said that I'm a single mom. And when I say single mom, I mean solo parent, my kids are mine kind of mom. I have them 100% of the time. Their dad does not live where I live. He lives in a different state, and this is a whole nother story we'll get into. And right now he has no contact with the kids and hasn't for almost 2 years. They told you I'm bad about time. So he has not seen or talked to the kids since August of 2018. And August of 2019. Man, we're in 2021 right now. So that relationship, and I say relationship because it's still going on in one capacity or another, has been very traumatic for me personally. I've done my damnedest to make sure that the kids feel as little of that as possible. And I think I've done a pretty decent job. But like I said, I mean, they essentially don't have a dad. My daughter remembers her dad. She remembers, at least that he kind of this like idea of a dad she remembers having. I don't know if she actually remembers her dad, you know what I mean? Because she's so young, but she's smart as a whip. So she'll bring up her dad, she'll say things like, I don't get to see my dad because he doesn't live here. So he is on her mind from time to time. She very much knows that he exists. My son, perhaps the luckier one at this point, has no concept of a dad. From the point in which I had him up until now, a dad has not been a thing for him. So it's just been mama. And that's probably easiest for him. Like I said, he's so young, it doesn't really matter at this point anyway. He doesn't think about what that means at all. He doesn't understand that maybe he doesn't have a dad, and maybe his friends, and I say friend loosely, as we know, all of you moms know, his friends may have, a dad in the home or 2 parents in the home kind of a thing. But it's just me and my babies, and that maybe he doesn't have a dad, and maybe his friends, and I say friend loosely, as we know, all of you moms know, his friends may have, a dad in the home or 2 parents in the home kind of a thing. But it's just me and my babies. So that means, I have them 100% financially. I have them 100% emotionally, physically, decision-makingly, mentally. It's all on me. It's all on mom. So, and this is why I wanted to do a YouTube channel, because I can talk and talk and talk. I can go on and on and on about my story. And I'm actually going to probably have trouble sectioning this off. So I'm kind of giving you bits and pieces here, and we'll see how it goes as I continue. But another part of my introduction, because I obviously didn't script this out very well, I live in Wyoming. For those of you around the country, if you are familiar with Wyoming in any sense, props to you. I say that jokingly, but a lot of people, like, Wyoming really isn't on their radar, and that's because there's like nothing here really, I mean, we don't have a big population. Most people are familiar with Yellowstone or Jackson Hole, which I have never been to either. But anyway, if you can tell, I'm not super thrilled about living in Wyoming. I, for the most part, grew up here. I went to high school, graduated high school, went to college, graduated college, and then I flew the coop. I left as fast as I could, with my kid's dad, as he lives in Washington State. So we were over there living in Washington State for like 5 years. And let me tell you, I love Washington. I love it. We were living in a tiny town named Colville, which is north of Spokane. So a lot of people know Spokane, or the name, Spokane. Anyway, I loved Washington. I loved the weather there. There was a lot that I loved. Also, a lot of things that I didn't love, but that's not Washington's fault. So, anyway, when I fully became a single mom, and it was like very 100% clear to me that that was gonna be what it was, I made the really, really tough decision to completely uproot the life I had built, in Washington over the last 5 years. And, there was a break in there, but I'll get into that too. But mostly I lived in Washington for 5 years. Maybe 6 years. Anyway, some of that time. And uproot everything and come back to Wyoming. And I don't have a huge family. I have a mom, a dad, and a brother. And we're all split up too. But my mom still lives here in Wyoming. So I made the decision to come back here as kind of a soft landing place for at least a little bit, to kind of get my grip on things, figure out what I wanted to do for myself and the kiddos. And it was 1,000% the right choice. I will complain daily on here about Wyoming, daily, because it's not my jam. But being here right now is 100% where I need to be. And shout out to Nanas, because my mom is a Nana to my kids, for helping us out, for making the world go round. She, we don't live with her. So there's, we have our own life, me and the kids, and then my mom has her own life, but she helps out tremendously. And at least I know now that, God forbid, one of my kids had to go to the emergency room again. I'll explain about that later too. I know that I can call her, and she can take care of the other child, or just help me mentally deal with that. So it's always good to have some kind of support. It doesn't have to be family. Obviously, it can be friends, which is another huge reason for my moving back, because for those of you who are excellent geography whizzes like myself, not, Wyoming and then Colorado, and I don't even know where they really are on the map, because I'm just not a genius like that. But Colorado is, most of us Wyoming folk go to Colorado to shop in the big city. We'll put it that way. Or go to the airport in Denver. Anyway, my friend lives in Severance, Colorado, which is really close to Fort Collins, Colorado. And so I'm constantly there, and she has been probably the greatest support for me throughout high school, college, and now in motherhood. even more than my mom. She can relate to me. We know each other to the core, kind of a thing. So anyway, that was a big part of my moving back too. She loves my babies like her own. And she has a daughter. And so anyway, being by a support unit was just, it was more important than anything. And I made that decision, you know, how many weeks postpartum? 3 weeks postpartum, I made that decision. So maybe I'll do this. It's like, okay, I'm introducing myself. I'm going to kind of leave it like just the demographics per se of who I am. And then I'll get into the nitty gritties and I'll try to like kind of actually schedule that out, of the content that I plan on sharing. Cause it'll be like a lot of kind of unpacking that, but I also want to keep a safe distance for, you know, myself personally, for my kids, and then out of respect for my kid's dad also, just not to share like every little detail or to share in full about what happened, because as you know, as much as I might want to do that, I know that it's just the right thing to hold a lot of that in. It's just the right thing to do. So anyway, that is, what else? Oh, I can share how old I am. I will be 28 in June. So I'm honing in. I'm honing in on 30, and it's terrifying, which I know is super dramatic and lame to say, but honestly, it is. Like, I'm at the end of my 20s. And where the heck did they go? They went to school and work and babies. You know, I wasn't like doing the things really. I mean, I have fun, don't get me wrong, but I was doing a lot of really serious stuff in my 20s. So honestly, I feel like my 30s are going to be the decade of like fun, kind of, because I finally feel like I'm rooted. I've finally kind of identified who I am and what's important to me. And, you know, my kids are both birthed and growing. So, anyway, 30s are going to be good, but I'm also scared to hit them. So, okay, we talked about my age. We talked about, where I am, my kids. Oh, I can also introduce 2 very important members of my family, my dogs. You will see a lot of them as these videos progress. But right now, surprisingly, they are both snoozing. Okay, I lied. One of them's chewing on her bone quietly in the other room. But she's still a puppy, and like, I'm not going to disturb that, I guess is what I'm saying. So, dogs are very important to me. Animals in general are very important to me, people. Like, I mean, if you don't have pets, I totally get it. Pets can be a major pain in the ass, just like kids. They can be messy, not as bad as kids. You know, if you're going to go anywhere, you've got to think about them. Like, I totally get the responsibility aspect, in addition to maybe just not wanting to have anything to do with it. But on the flip side of that, like, you've got to be crazy to not have pets. They make the world go round. Okay, so Handsome is the name of my little guy. And I say little guy, he's a Yorkie cross thing. I recently looked into this more about what he actually is, and maybe I can talk about that on him. Maybe I can have just like a dog segment of this. He's 5. He will be 6 in July. And then my newest member of the family, which I actually just officially adopted yesterday, I signed my life by paying her adoption fee. Woo woo. But we picked her up. I say we, me and the kids, picked her up 3 weeks ago now. I don't know. Time flies. Anyway, she is a adorable, super sweet pit bull mix. I have wanted a pit bull for so long, you guys. So long. And we can talk about that more too. But anyway, so I was kind of like sort of looking for a dog, and saw this little girl's face and just got in there And I fought for her, man, because they had someone else wanting to meet her that day. And I had to drive 2 hours to Colorado to meet her. And I was like, I can be there. Well, they had a visit scheduled for Saturday, okay? And I was talking to them on Friday. They had just reviewed my application, and they're like, okay, well, why don't we schedule something for Saturday? And I was like, no, I can be there today. Like, do you have time today? So I threw my kids in the car, like kind of rushed actually. And we drove down to Denver area to go meet this girl. And let me just tell you, sweetest babe ever. She's kind of getting close to 9 months, I think. So she's still doing all the like fun puppy things, like going potty in the house, going potty on my bed, going potty on my daughter's bed, chewing things like my son's sippy cup of milk that he left on the floor, harassing the children about whatever they happen to be eating at the time. So anyway, again, pets are crazy and they drive you nuts, but they're the best things ever. So that is my family, and that's sort of our situation. Like I said, working single mom. I guess you could kind of say I'm a young mom. I mean, I was 10 years younger than my mom when I had kids, so maybe I fit that criteria. So I've kind of got this like jumble of stuff that I just want to be able to talk about, and I kind of wanted to like get a virtual, what's the word? What is the word I'm looking for? Virtual like record book, I guess, of things going on with me. Like I said, I've been through some junk, but I'm at a good point in my life. I actually really like my life right now. So I wanted to just like kind of start documenting it and get my crazy out on YouTube. So I am going to leave it at there. I'm going to say if my editing on this video is terrible, I am so sorry, because I've never edited before, and I know this is going to be choppy and odd because I keep like doing weird stuff, and like not being able to look at the camera, which I just did again. So apologies if anybody watched this, apologies for all that, but I really just wanted to kind of get an intro out there, and explain a little bit about who I am and what I want to do. And I really would just, I'd love to be a resource for people who might be, you know, looking for someone who's in a similar boat to them. Or just also I'd like to talk a lot. I've only had like 1.5 cups of coffee today, so it's kind of crazy. Anyway, okay, so that's my intro, and what I plan to do is just kind of jot down some thoughts going forward about how I want to kind of do some initial videos, and kind of what the topics will be, and to start working on some content and stuff. So I'm excited, and if you've stuck with me this long, thank you so much for watching. More to come soon.